Mm. Okay, so let's talk about these red flags. I think this is something it'd be really important to talk about. It's kind of like the deconstruction of these beliefs. Like, what were these kind of like red flags that made you to like question your beliefs regarding Black Hebrew Israelitism?
There were a couple. So one of them was like I talked about earlier, the supernatural birth of Christ. I remember reading in Scripture, and I remember reading Matthew, and I was like, well, this seems like a supernatural birth. Just me just reading without anybody telling me what it means. And so, but I was so brainwashed in a sense that I didn't even trust my own judgment in understanding the Scripture accurately. So what I did was I took that and I took it to the elders, and I said, hey, listen, I'm reading this. It seems like a supernatural birth. I'm probably misunderstanding it. Can you show me and kind of explain to me how I can kind of, and quote unquote, explain away what my conscience was telling me? And they said, okay, yeah, we'll get into it. But we never got to it. We never got into why it was why Jesus Christ was not supernaturally born and things like that. And that was just one of the red flags. One of the other red flags is I remember sitting in Bible class and I was reading, we would have our from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, we would usually have Bible study, and for the whole day pretty much. And I remember we were reading a certain passage. I can't remember the exact passage, but I know that we were reading about the Pharisees. And when I was reading it, I was convicted in my heart. And I said, well, we act just like them. And I was kind of taken back because that's exactly how we behaved. And I remember, after class was over, I went and I talked with my mom. And I told her, hey, Mom, when we were reading this, she said, shut up, don't say anything. Because she said, I felt the exact same way, but we didn't want to say anything because we knew that we would be looked at as, troublemakers or people who are, whatever it is. And so those were like two of the red flags. There were others. There were things that I didn't feel were consistent. And there were things that came up. And one thing that I noticed looking back is that they were always kind of changing the doctrine. For example, if something came out, let's just say we interpreted one portion of Scripture one way, and then months later we say, oh, we were wrong about that. So now we have to change our whole way of thinking. So it was always that happening. Maybe every 1 or 2 years or so, there was a doctrinal change. And as a result, many of the camps, or what they would call the camps, would split. They would disagree, and then one group would go one way, the other one would go another way. But yeah, those were some of the red flags that I saw, amongst many.
Yeah.